Being an RPA developer, it is very important to stay updated with the latest product updates of UiPath. Recently, UiPath has announced the 2023.6 release, which has got new features and new activity. This video talks about what is there in 2023.6 update. In case you are coming to the channel for the first time and you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the latest updates. So let's get started. We have a dedicated playlist on the UiPath product updates where time to time we are exploring the new features which are getting added to the product. The link to the playlist is available in the description. You would find the 23.4 stable release, live streaming, tax management, job recording, data manager, and all the features which are available in UiPath. So let's get started by looking at today's video, which is on 2023.6. Whenever we talk about releases, 2023.6 means that this update has been released in the year 2023 and the month is June, right? So today we are going to talk about the release which happened in the June month of 2023, right? Talking of the agenda, this would be our agenda for today. We are going to start with what exactly are the auto-generated variables, what are formatting activities, what is coded automation. We are going to see how actually the copy message clipboard works and what exactly is the restore pages pop-up, some enhancement which has been done on this front, right? And all of this we are going to see in a step-by-step demonstration. So first thing first, let's go to UiPath Studio. Okay, so I am back into my UiPath Studio, and as you can see at the bottom, I am in the 2023.6.1 community edition. I am using the community edition of UiPath and my version is 2023.6.1, right? So this is where I would be able to see all the latest features, right? So let's go here and try to create a new project. I'll go here and I say new process. We'll name the project as 2023.6 update. I'll say create. We'll just wait for the project to load. My studio is loaded and I am in the main sequence. Okay, let's go back to the presentation now. The first update which we are going to talk today is called the auto generated variables. This simply means that now with this feature in UiPath would automatically create the variable for us whenever we are building the workflow, and it would be able to give us that variable for the next activities. If you are following the 23.4 release which happened in April, this feature was available only for the cross-platform project, but now this is available in the studio in the Windows framework as well. Okay, so for that you simply have to create activities and UiPath Studio will automatically generate variables for you, and this would be available in the data manager and in the intelligence as well. How does it look? Let's go to UiPath and see that in action. Okay, so I am in the main of my project. If I go to the data manager, you would see that I don't have any variables here, right? So the people who don't understand what is data manager, guys, this is now a part of UiPath Studio. So please watch the previous video to understand the data manager. Okay, I don't have any variable here, right? So let's say I want to use an activity which is generate data table from text. Okay, so UiPath has this activity where you can generate a data table from a string, from a text, right? So I am using this activity, right? So for my input, let's say I have this input 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Some input I have, and I want to convert this into a data table, right? So previously when I was not having this option as a developer, I have to go here in the data table. We used to go to variables, or we used to go to data manager. We used to create a variable. That variable we use here and that variable we can now use in the other part of the automation as well. That option is still with you, right? You can always go here, hit Control plus K, create a data table, and that is there, right? But with this new update, you would notice that UiPath Studio is telling me that, Mukesh, see, I have this variable out generate data table 2 underscore data table, right? I can create this variable automatically for you and you don't have to create it. See? But how do I instruct UiPath Studio to actually go and create this variable? So let's say once you have done with this activity, now the other activity here is that, let's say I'm just using a for each data table, right? Now this is other activity which is for each row in a data table, right? Now here this is a second activity. This activity requires a data table. Now my requirement is simple, right? Whatever data table I get from this activity, I want to use it here. But I haven't created this variable, right? If you see here, data manager, there is no variable. Now in the second activity, I can simply go to this plus button here, click on this, and you have this option which says use variable. Okay. And here you would notice that you are getting an option that from the generate data table from text data table. As soon as I select this, you would notice that this variable is automatically created here and this variable is automatically used in this activity. And if I go to the data manager now, you will notice that the variable is created with data table. And you could see also this in here as well, right? So this is what is referred to as the auto generated variables, right? You don't have to create variables. UiPath Studio will automatically create for you. You just have to click on this plus button in the activities and select use variables, right? Interesting, right? So that was about the auto generated variables, right? I would like to take a pause. If you like this feature, just comment auto generated variables so that I understand that yes, you guys like this feature. Okay, let's move forward. The next thing in the 2023.6 release is that we have got some activities which are known as the formatting activities, right? Extract text between two string, extract emails, extract URL, extract text from HTML, find and replace, right? These are a lot of activities which are newly introduced in UiPath and which are known as formatting activities. How do you use them and when? Let's talk about it, right? So let's go to UiPath Studio and see all of this again in action. Okay, so I'm back to my UiPath. I'll go here and I'll create a new sequence. This one I'll call as formatting. I'll hit create. Okay, now this I am going to explain the formatting activities, right? Now for this you simply have to go to the activities and you would notice that in your UiPath Studio in the installed packages you have something which is called the formatting. This is a part of system package, right? And here you have two activities which are available, which is called the extract text and it is called the find and replace. If you keep your mouse over this, you would understand that this is coming from UiPath.system.activities package, right? So both of these activity are part of the system package. What do I mean by that? If I go to the project, in the dependencies, you would see that the system activities are 23.6, right? If you are in a lower version, you won't get those activities. Okay, so make sure that you are using this version. So again, going back to the activities, in the installed formatting, you have these two options which are available, right? Let's try to use the first one, which is called the extract text. Okay, now prior to this, right, many of you are advanced developer, many of you have been using string manipulation and not, right? Let's say I want to extract data between two strings, right? So we used to write a lot of code, we used to do the string manipulation because there was no direct activity available. but after this update you have a direct activity which is available, right? To take an example, let's say I have this sample data, right, which says that my name is Mukesh Kala, my email ID is mailmukeshkala@gmail.com. All the channel content is available at https www.mukeshkala.com, which is true, right? Everything you are seeing on the channel, the content code, everything is available here. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel, right? So let's say this is a string which I have got and I want to do some kind of operation, right? So let's take this string, go back to the UiPath Studio. There is something which is called source text, right? If I go here, I can always copy paste my source text here, or you can always use a string variable as well, right? So I'll just put it in double quotes like this, and this is my input text, right? The same thing which I was showing it to you, and I say save. Okay, now the first thing here what you see is what to extract. I want to extract the value between the two strings, right? So let's say this is a complete string, right, and I want to get the data between two strings. So you can always use this action. So let's say I want to know what is my name. So my name is Mukesh Kala, but it is available between this, right, and between my email ID, right? And we have this dot 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 as well, right? So if I say that from this string, Control C, which is say starting text. So starting text is this one, my name is, right, and my email ID, copy. What is the ending text? I'll just go here and I say paste, and you would notice that in the preview you are actually getting what exactly is the output. So you don't have to run the automation, come back, do the debugging and see what you are getting, right? All of this is happening in the runtime, right? So as you can see that I have put the starting text, which was this, my name is, my email ID is, and UiPath is giving me that this is your response, right? If I just change this text to something like this, you don't have to rerun the automation. You just come here and you would be able to see the content in the real time. Interesting, right? You don't have to run this. Now, how do I store this and how do I use it in the next set of activities? So for that, you simply click on this activity, go back to the properties, and here you see something which is called first extract at text. Where do you want to use it? And you can see here UiPath has automatically created the variable for me, auto generated variables, right? So now let's say I want to simply use this in a write line activity. All I have to do is just go here, click on this plus button, use variable, and whatever I am getting from this, double click on that, and the variable is automatically created for me, right? How cool is that, right? I don't have to go here, I don't have to create variables, it's automatically created for me, right? For this use case, right, if I simply go here and I say run the file, right, whatever output we are seeing in the preview, that output would now be available output panel, right? So if I go to the output panel, you could see that Mukesh Kala, my email ID is this. This is the same thing which I was getting here, right? One more thing about this activity is that sometimes what might happen that you have got duplicate response, right? You have got duplicate response, you have got more than one response in the same text. Can I manage this? The answer is yes, right? Let's see that in action. I'll go back to the string, right? What I'll do is I'll simply copy this and I'll duplicate the complete text. Okay, I'll say save, and I am telling UiPath that this is my input, right? I'll just maximize. This is my complete input which I have duplicated, and I want to look the data between my name is and my email ID is, right? And because I have duplicated the data, that's why I am getting 1 and 2 in the output. But do I actually require the duplicate? It might depend on your scenario, right? But let's say you have a requirement where I do not want the duplicates, right? So simply go to the properties and you have an option here which says ignore the duplicates. I toggle this to on and you can see the duplicate is gone. Just a matter of click. Again, ignore the duplicates, include the duplicates, right? That is how easy UiPath has made it for us, right? Match case is self-explanatory. Do I want to do it for the uppercase, lowercase, everything can be done, right? Now one more thing here, you would notice that as of now I am having only a single output. That's why my data is available in a form of string, right? First extracted text, which would have this. But when you have multiple string outputs, right, you may not be able to store it in a single string variable, right? So if I just toggle this off, you would notice that I am getting two variables. So when it was single, I could use the first extracted text. But if I want to get all these duplicate items as well, it is not possible to store it in a single string variable. So for that, UiPath has just made this thing, which is called a IEnumerable of string, which is nothing but a collection of string. So all those results would be stored in this collection. Right now you always has an option, you can go here, hit Ctrl+K, create the variable, or you can simply use this variable wherever you want to use this activity, right? Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and now you are able to relate that how exactly is the extract text and what exactly is the string array, right? String array would come in picture when you have more than string in an output. Okay, before moving forward, I want you guys to comment extract text in the comments so that I understand that you guys like this feature as I do. Okay. Moving forward now, you have the small drop down here in the same activity, and here you can see that what to extract. Let's say I want to extract the email addresses, right? If you see here, this was my text. I have just duplicated the text. That's why you are getting two email IDs, but the concept is simple, right? Let's say you have a big document and you have read the document, and from the document you want to read the email ID. You can use this thing. A real-time use case of this thing would be a resume parsing, right? Where you have read the resume, you have that resume in a string variable, and you want to extract the email address. Prior to this update, we have to write the regular expression, we have to do a lot of things, but with this, you simply have to select the email address here and it will automatically give you all these options. If I go to the properties here, you would notice that the same options are available. If you only want a single one, you can use this. But if there are multiple duplicates, right, then it would be coming as a collection of string. So you can use the second option. The same concept. Do you want duplicates or do you want to ignore the duplicates, right? That is just a matter of click. So that was extracting of the email addresses from the text, and it works so flawlessly. In the same drop down, you have something which is called URLs. Now URL is something which is nothing but which is having a proper URL format, HTTPS. But when I select here URL, I am not getting anything. Why? Let's check it here. So I have this, my name is Mukesh, I got the email ID, all my content. Yeah, do you see here? In your URL, you cannot have space, right? So as soon as I remove this space and I hit save, you will notice that we are able to extract the URL, right? In my input text, I have got two places. This URL has a space. That is why I'm not getting this URL. So if I just remove this space and I say save, you would see all of this happening in the real time, right? So URL extraction is very easy now with this activity, which is called extract text, right? If I go to the properties, same options, ignore the duplicates, don't ignore the duplicates, first URL, all URL, collection of string. Here you have one more option which is called the extract base URL only. If you keep your mouse here, it explains that what this property will actually do. When it is enabled, it will extract only the base URL of the extracted URL, ignoring any additional path or query string which is part of this information, right? Now what does it mean? So if you see here, as of now my URL is only having www.mukeshkala.com, but let's say I have this thing here, right? Question mark abc equal to something something, right? I have some additional in the URL, right? So you might understand that sometime we get a lot of big URL which is having a lot of extra things. So I just save this, and you can see that it is able to extract both the complete URLs from it, right? But if I go to the properties here, and if I say extract base URL only, I toggle this to on, it would only get you the base URL, ignoring all the additional parameters. Duplicates, toggle this on, works like a charm, right? Very good activity, useful whenever we are doing the string manipulation, right? I would like to take a pause. If you actually like this activity and you are able to follow along, please comment URL so that I understand that yes, you guys are with me. Okay, now the last one here is called the text from the HTML code, which simply means that if I have an HTML code with me which has got a lot of formatting, lot of this, and it has got also some raw text. If I want to extract all of this, I can simply use this activity which is called text from HTML code, right? So let's try to put some HTML code here. Okay, so I'll go back to this source text. I'll open this, and this is an HTML code, right? As you can see, I have doc type, HTML headers. If I save this, and here I say only text from the HTML code, you would notice the output I am only getting the HTML tutorial, this is a heading, and this is a paragraph. Whereas the actual HTML code has all the HTML tags, doc type, title, body, h1p, body, and HTML, right? So if you have a requirement where you want to get only the text from HTML, you can use this activity, right? This can be useful whenever I have something which is, let's say, a source page, right? I get the source of a browser, I get a source of a page, and I am only interested in the information, not in the HTML. Copy paste that thing, get it into a variable, pass that variable here like this, right? And simply use text from HTML and you get the output, right? Simple activity, but very useful whenever we want to get something out of an HTML code, right? I hope this was helpful, and if you are able to follow along, just comment HTML code so that I understand that yes, you guys are with me and you also like this activity, right? So this was the activity, guys. The activity name is extract text. It has got this 4 variants. Depending on your requirement, you can actually go and utilize this. Okay, if I go to the activities again, in the formatting you have something which is called find and replace, right? I just drag and drop this activity here, find and replace, right? I think we can comment out this activity now. This is done, right? Find and replace, as the name suggests, find something and replace it in the variable, right? So I have this text, right? I'll just copy here, source text. What is the source? So this is my input text, right? My name is Mukesh Kala, my email ID is this, and something something, right? I say save. Now let's say I have a requirement where I want to replace something, so find and replace, right? This is the same thing which you do it in a normal text editor also, right? Edit, and I say replace, find and replace, right? So the same concept is now available in the UiPath Studio as well, right? So let's say I want to change something here, right? So let's say I want to say that no, my name is not Mukesh, my name is something else. So I say that value to find is Mukesh Kala, right? And now I want to replace it with what? If you see here, it automatically replaced it with nothing, right? My name is, I am getting nothing, right? Because I have not put the value. As soon as I put some value, let's say I say that my name is Iron Man, you would see that this is the output which I am getting. I don't even have to save this in a variable, run this and do those all of things. We can just see the output directly in the preview, right? Now this activity can be also used to chop off information from a string, right? So let's say this is a big string which I have, right, and I want to remove this line. All the content is available here, right? So all you have to do is just value to find, pass that string here in double quotes, and I'll just remove this, and you could see that that line is completely omitted, right? So you can use this activity intelligently to play around. If you don't put anything, it will replace the complete line, right? So that is how easy it is to just find and replace, right? Source text, value to find, replace with, and whatever value you put in replace with, that data would be automatically replaced in the source, right? If I talk about the properties, you have only one option, which is called the updated text, which is again automatically created variable for you, right? Do you want to match the case? Do you don't want to match the case? This is simply matching the capitals and the small alphabets, right? So again, all this depends on your implementation, but pretty handy activity in 23.6, right? If you like this feature, just comment, find and replace, and let's move forward. Okay, back to my presentation, guys. So this was the formatting activities which are available: extract text between two string, extract emails, URLs, text from HTML code, and find and replace, right? I would like you guys to just go to your UiPath Studio and give it a try and let me know your feedback on the same. Okay. Next, we have something which is called coded automation, right? As the name suggests, coded automation, right? Now, UiPath Studio, UiPath Studio X, both of them are a low code and a no code platform, which simply means that as a developer, we do not have to write so much of code, right? We have seen in the previous activity as well. We just have to drag and drop. But over a period of time, there are a lot of developers who are coming from a programming background who are more comfortable in writing the code rather than simply dragging and dropping, right? UiPath conducted a survey where 40% of the automation developer have the programming skill and they want to actually write the code. So that's why UiPath introduced something which is called the coded automation. So with coded automation, we can actually write code inside the UiPath Studio directly, right? Where exactly you will use it? You will use it to write reusable component. You can do it for collaboration. Wherever there is a more complex automation where you don't have the activity for drag and drop, you can actually use the coded automation. It will also accelerate the automation migration from legacy to the RPA providers, right? And this option is available in the new sequence. Let me just quickly go back to Studio and show it to you. So whenever you are in UiPath Studio, you go here in the new. Previously you only have sequence, flowchart, state machine, all the workflows and the form. Now you have something which is called coded workflow, coded test case, and the code source file. If you click on that, it will simply open the editor, which is same like the Visual Basic editor which you see in the Visual Studio, right? So the people who are coming from a programming background, you would understand that how this thing work, right? And this is available directly in your UiPath Studio. So this feature is called the coded automation, right? Mostly for the people who are more interested to write the code and have more control on the automation. Coded automation is a very large topic. Someday we might create a dedicated video on that where we would explore what all things we can do there, how you can do that. But in this video, I just want to talk about that what exactly are added in 23.6 release, right? Moving forward, so whenever we used to have some UI automation activity error in the UiPath Studio, we used to normally go and copy paste this thing, right? But now with this version, whenever you have some error in the UI automation activities, you would have this option which is called copy to clipboard for the users to directly copy so that they can report it easily, right? So you don't have to go open, copy and paste it again, right? To see that in action, let me go back to my UiPath Studio. I'll go here and I'll create a new sequence. I'll call this sequence as error in UI automation. I'll hit create, and here let me just quickly take a click activity. Okay, so I will just open a notepad file here I want UiPath Studio to go and click on this notepad file button, right? So now UiPath Studio will go and look for this file button, right? I'll go to the properties, and in the timeout I'll just make it to 3000, right? So the guys, I hope you understand what this 3000 means. It means that I want UiPath to look for this notepad only for 3 seconds, right? In case you don't understand what are these UI automation activities, guys, I have a dedicated selector playlist where we are explaining all of this. Link is available in the description, right? So I'll go ahead and I'll close this notepad file is no longer available. I'll just go here and I say run the file, and after 3 seconds I got an error that I'm not able to find that file button because there is no notepad. But with this new update you have this option which says copy to clipboard, that will actually copy this complete error to the clipboard, which you can always paste in UiPath forum, in email, or wherever you want, right? So this option was not available previously. This is now available in the new feature, right? So that was about copy error message to clipboard, which is available here. This is applicable to the runtime server, right? The next feature which is available, it is for the browser automation, right? So whenever we are doing the browser automation, guys, you might have seen, if we just use some activity which is called kill process activity, or something unexpected happened and your browser crashed, and when UiPath Studio used to reopen the browser, we used to get this pop-up which is called restore pages, right? This is from Edge and this is from Chrome, right? Now as a developer we need to write additional logic to handle this pop-up, where we say that okay, if the element exists for this pop-up, you click on this cross button. If this pop-up exists, click on restore, click on that, right? So we have to write an additional logic to handle these pop-ups, right? But with 23.6 release, what would happen? We have implemented, means UiPath has implemented a change that prevents the restore pop-up window from appearing when opening the browser, so that no additional logic is needed to close it, right? Developer friendly, no need of writing any logic. UiPath Studio would automatically take care of the pop-up, right? And your automation will not break, right? I hope this makes sense, right? So the people who have done UI automation in past, they would have seen this error, and with this feature it is giving a lot of relax to them because they don't have to write additional logic, right? Let me know in the comments if you have actually seen this, faced this, and do you think that this would be helpful or not. Okay, so this was the last feature which I wanted to talk. Now today in this video I only talked about a limited feature which are added in 23.6, right? On my screen you are seeing that we have updates on Studio, Studio X, Coded Automation, Test Suite, Robot, Assistant, UI Automation, SAP, DU, and IT Automation. 23.6 update has got a lot of feature in all of these categories, right? Now question, where can I get all of this, right? So you can always go to UiPath forum and just click on 23.6 release, or you can directly go to the description of this video. You would have the direct link to the 23.6 release, and you can read it yourself and try out the other features as well, right? Okay, so that is all for this video. I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. I hope this was insightful. If you have any more questions, any more doubts, feel free to write me in the comments, or you can also drop me an email as well. My email ID is available in the description. I would appreciate your feedback on this video, and we would wrap. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.